Welcome to M Squared Techcast, a live internet radio show offering the latest news and interviews with the people driving business, technology, and politics in Michigan. Now, your hosts, Matt Roush and Mike Brennan.
Well, Mike Brennan anyway, and Matt is on vacation, but we have some exciting news. We're now a video show, and so you can see us for whatever that's worth, right? And we have as our first guest for our first video show, John McLaughlin, who is with KLA in Ann Arbor. He's the lead there, I guess is your title, right, John?
That's right, site leader.
Site leader, okay. So probably a lot of you out there are going, what is KLA Ann Arbor? John, explain.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Mike. Appreciate it. KLA is a tech company based in California. We make semiconductor equipment, so we do inspection and measurement of semiconductor chips. And the Ann Arbor part is really exciting for us. We're starting a new R&D center in Ann Arbor, and we're creating 600 jobs right here in Southeast Michigan.
And we were talking just before the show started. Actually, I was at your grand opening in May, I believe it was, wasn't it?
Early June.
Was it early June? Okay.
Yeah.
And so I've interviewed John a couple of times, took a look at the facilities right there in North Ann Arbor, which is just a temporary facility because you're going to be building a huge kind of facility in the same general area over the next couple of years, right?
That's right. We're building a campus of our own just east of Ann Arbor in the Ann Arbor Technology Park, so just over US 23 near Domino's Farms.
Right, yeah, good spot. Lots of stuff going on there.
Yep.
And so you came out, I know you're an Ann Arbor person, you came out of the U of M. You had already dealt with KLA previous to that, and it turns out that the CEO is a U of M grad, so it all came together, right?
Well, it just so happens the CEO is a Michigan alum. Yeah, absolutely. I worked with KLA when I was at U of M. The company did a very careful, deliberative search of all different locations across the country, looking for a second site. Ann Arbor was in the mix, and the consulting team ended up picking Ann Arbor because it just fit a lot of the criteria the company was looking for. So really exciting.
Let's talk about that. What was some of that criteria? How did Ann Arbor win over? You were looking at 4 or 5 other sites, weren't you?
Yeah, we started with a list of 350 sites.
Wow.
Then we narrowed to 12, and then 3 finalists. So
Okay.
Ann Arbor won because we wanted a pipeline of engineering talent, and we thought that Southeast Michigan can go up against anybody. We wanted proximity to an international airport. We wanted a high quality of life, lower cost of living compared to the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah.
And all the culture and attractions of a college town. So when you think about that, Ann Arbor really fits the bill on all dimensions.
And if you like the 4 seasons, you got that covered too, all right?
You do, absolutely.
I think I saw a video of you cross-country skiing. Wasn't that you in that video, cross-country skiing?
I don't know if it was me, but I love cross-country skiing. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about these jobs. You before we started, you mentioned 39 folks have been hired already. Is that right?
Yep, we're in the high 30s right now.
Okay.
So ramping up our office, trying to fill it as much as we can.
And so what types of folks are you looking for?
So predominantly we're hiring electrical engineers and computer scientists, but we have a range of jobs open. We're hoping this is going to be a second headquarters for the company. That's how we're positioning it.
Sure.
We want it to be a cross-cutting center of excellence, so artificial intelligence, computer science, hardware engineering, and then we're bringing in other corporate functions as well, so finance, IT, the whole 9 yards.
Wow. And now these initial 39 hires, those are more heavily oriented towards what, STEM-type jobs, engineering, whatnot, software?
Yeah, they're overwhelmingly engineering with other corporate functions mixed in.
Okay.
Yep.
And then let's talk a little bit more about what you do. When I first read about the company, I was a little confused. I actually thought you were a chip maker, but you don't make chips, but you make the equipment that deals with the chips or certifies the chips, right?
That's right. Yep. You probably haven't heard of KLA, but you probably are very, very familiar with our customers, right? So our customers are companies like Intel and Samsung. If you walked into a wafer fab anywhere in the world, a place where chips are manufactured, then you will find our equipment. So our equipment measures the chips, does inspection to find defects in the chip so that when they come out of the production process, they're perfect and they function. when they go into your devices.
Wow, that's amazing. And so, what are you developing in as we go forward? What are you seeing in the chip arena? I know you don't actually develop the chips, but you develop the equipment, so you got to work hand in glove with Intels of the world and whatnot, AMDs. So, where are we going with chip technology?
Yeah, so chip technology is getting more and more complex. As we move into autonomous cars, technology becomes smaller, and Internet of Things means that your chips are going everywhere, right? So
Right.
you're looking at ubiquitous installation of chips in devices, and then you're also trying to increase capabilities so you can meet the needs of the automotive industry and other advanced technologies.
Was that also a big factor that you were so near the automotive? I don't know if we call them the big three anymore, but FCA, GM, Ford, was that? And of course, Toyota has a big development center right outside of Ann Arbor. Was that played into this?
I'd say that's a big benefit of choosing Ann Arbor. Automotive makes up a pretty healthy portion of our revenue, and we'd like to increase that going forward. So we are thinking strategically about how we engage with the automotive industry, and very excited to be right next door.
Okay. And then, so let's talk a little bit more about what you're going to be doing in the future. Over the next 5 years, you want to hire up to or more than 500 people, right?
That's right. Yep, shooting for 500 to 600 people over that time frame.
Okay, and then the campus, I've seen sketches of it, schematics of it. So when do you actually break ground on all that?
Yeah, we're shooting to break ground this fall, and we're going to be open in the summer of 2021.
All
That's
right.
our time frame.
That's pretty fast, actually. So
It is pretty fast. Yeah, we're moving as quickly as we can.
And then you were saying the benefits of Ann Arbor, of course, the U of M. You came out of the engineering college, so you're very familiar with the talent that college produces, right?
Yeah, it's talent that can go up against anybody, and that's really important to us. We have a lot of people to hire, a lot of roles to fill, so we wanted to be right next door to a big university that has excellent talent, and then down the road from a lot of other talent, right? So we wanted to be near other schools, Lawrence Tech, Michigan State, Michigan Tech, you name it. We're going to be recruiting all across the Midwest this fall.
Yeah, great. And now these jobs, are you looking for, how much of an experience level are you looking for? You're not looking for entry level necessarily. You're looking for very experienced people?
So it varies. We hire at the graduate and undergraduate level, and then we're also looking for people who are already out in the labor force. So we've got mid-career positions, we've got junior level positions for undergraduates, and then we have graduate level positions for people with a master's or a PhD.
And perhaps even recruiting from some of the local companies, offering, a better deal than what they're getting wherever they're at. I'm assuming that you wouldn't look askance at that, right?
Our philosophy is we want excellent talent, so we're looking at a bunch of different angles to get that talent. We really need it, though.
Yeah.
Because this is an R&D site, and we're going to be building the next generation of our products from Ann Arbor.
Sure. And then what sort of benefit package? You don't have to give me specifics like, maybe ranges or something, but what do you typically offer these folks to come work for you at KLA?
Yeah, I'd say we offer highly competitive salaries. We also have great benefits at KLA. We're building this campus to be really appealing to the next generation. So we're going to have a fitness center. We will have a beautiful site that opens up to the outdoors, connecting into local bike paths. It's going to be really exciting.
Daycare, I assume, for the women or men that work there that need to have daycare. You're going to have that?
We won't have on-site daycare, but we do have a lot of other amenities.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
on-site daycare takes a lot of space, and I don't think we have the square footage for that.
Okay, sounds good. There's been a lot of people saying that, it's hard to keep talent in Southeast Michigan, all this really skilled STEM-based talent. But what have you run up against? People are they eager to stay here if it's the right circumstances?
Yeah, I think if it works for them, we're targeting people who are from here or have connections to the Midwest because
Right.
we find that's where we can be most successful. That said, we just relocated somebody from California who had no roots here before, and find that people are pretty open to that as well.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine that I worked with at the Free Press who took a job out in Silicon Valley and bought just a modest 3-bedroom house for $1.5 million. So probably buy the same house here for $300,000 or $400,000, right?
Yeah, it's all relative, right? I mean, if you look out in California, compare that to even the priciest places in Michigan, Ann Arbor looks like a steal
Yeah,
for a lot of these
absolutely.
folks.
That's good. All right, so let's talk one more time. Let's talk a little bit about KLA. Just we talked about at the beginning, but people might just be coming in and picking this up. So you guys do what again? Now your semiconductor test equipment, right?
Yep. So we do inspection and measurement of semiconductor chips.
All right. And so, do you need a specialized talent for that? I mean, obviously the STEM sort of skills, but I mean, beyond that, is there a special talent that you're looking for?
We're looking for talented engineers of all stripes. If you look on careers.kla.com, you'll find all our job openings. A lot of electrical engineering positions, a lot of computer science, but
Sure.
you'll find a bunch of other flavors. So please check us out. If you're an engineer or you're a professional looking to jumpstart your career or move, take a look.
And of course, then you also need the support people. You need the marketing people. You need office people, HR, whatnot, too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And those jobs are all listed there as well.
Those jobs are available as well. Yep.
Okay. And if folks, one more time, if folks want to get more information about that website, give that address one more time here.
Yeah, happy to do it. careers.kla.com. Please check us out.
And if they want to reach out to you, is that possible since you are the Ann Arbor lead?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn.
And just ping you and say, hey, I'm interested. So,
Absolutely. Please do.
how do you feel? I mean, you're at the U of M. I imagine you're fairly happy there. Moving over to private sector, how are things going? Are you really happy with that?
I'm thrilled. Yeah, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. I loved being at U of M, still work with the university all the time. But it's fantastic to be starting a new industrial research center right in my hometown. It's awesome.
All right. Well, that's John McLaughlin, who is the lead for KLA in Ann Arbor. And if you're looking for a high-tech career, he wants to talk to you, right, John?
That's right. Get in touch with us.
All right. Well, this is Mike Brennan. Matt's on vacation, but he'll be back next week, and we'll be back shortly with another guest. This is Mike Brennan on M Squared Techcast.
Thanks, Mike.
We're out. Okay.
Why wait? Find out more at ltu.edu.
Hey, it's Mike Brennan. We're back with our second segment on our first video show. We launched this today, Monday, July 8th. And so Matt is not here today. He's still on vacation. He'll be back next week on the 15th. We're kind of excited about that. And we have with us an old friend of ours, a longtime, excuse me, I shouldn't say old, I always get in trouble with that. A longtime friend of mine,
No problem,
Lisa
Mike.
Valley Smith.
Age discrimination, not an issue.
That's it, yes. So she's the president of Airfoil Group, formerly known as Airfoil PR, but you just keep expanding and growing and adding new stuff. And let's talk a little bit about Airfoil Group.
Sure. Well, I'd like to start out by saying congratulations on your new venture.
Thank you.
This is amazing. You've been doing wonderful things for our industry and the business and tech community in Michigan for a long time, and we're really pleased to see you expanding and diversifying, and it's a great outlet for companies such as mine and my clients. So I'm CEO and founder of Airfoil Group. We are a marketing communications consultancy that specializes in work for technology businesses, and we were born of the .com in 2000, and here we are 19 years later, still working with leading edge technology businesses here and across the country. So A year ago, we started a new agency, a sister agency to Airfoil, Airfoil Digital, that specializes in digital marketing. So these would be user experience design kinds of things, content marketing, lead generation, SEO, SMO, digital ad buying, those kinds of things. So on the communication side of Airfoil, which is our legacy business that we launched with, that's what I would call more awareness building, brand awareness building kinds of services, public relations, traditional marketing communications. And now with the digital piece, we can convert brand awareness into actual sales conversion. So it's really been exciting. And yeah, we're just continue to diversify and grow with our industry, which has changed tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely. And over the past 20 years, I mean, you started off as one of Microsoft's big partners regionally, and you've kind of grown from there. Talk about some of your major clients.
Sure. So people who have known Airfoil knew that we launched with a very small piece of work for Microsoft Corporation in the Great Lakes region. And over the course of 14 years of consecutive business with them, we worked in most areas of their enterprise product group. So we learned a lot about software sales marketing. I like to say that a lot of our marketing communications best practices were informed by Microsoft.
Yeah.
We work for many different kinds of companies now. One of our largest accounts is Bosch in North America. So we represent Bosch, and we're working with them to position them for the future of global mobility, which is all about software, sensors, and services. Also in the automotive manufacturing space is Forcia, which is based in Paris. We launched Forcia in North America in 2004, I believe.
Wow.
And they are an innovator in interior systems, very leading edge design kinds of things. A lot of our work, though, is for early stage developing businesses, those who may just have their initial seed round or are just coming to market. And I like to say that if you're a business that is looking to launch a product, a service, or a brand, Airfoil is a good turn-to partner for you. So in that area, we've recently signed on 3 fairly early stage clients, 2 in the artificial intelligence space, and then 1 in Torrance, California, that makes an interesting power technology for automotive manufacturing. So it's a real diverse range of clients. It's something new and interesting every day, and I'm just thrilled to be able to work with leading edge innovators for so many years.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just added 9 new clients, I know, because the press release just went out last week. So let's talk about some of those clients and how they illustrate the diversity of the client base that you have.
Sure. So one of those is headquartered right here in Michigan. It's called the Mars Agency. It is a well-established, very known advertising agency that has traditionally been in the shopper marketing space. So if you go into a grocery store and the merchandising of those kinds of things, they really own that category. And they have recently debuted a piece of AI-enabled technology that will really revolutionize that whole shopper marketing experience and processes for marketers. It's called Marilyn, and it's named after Marilyn Barnett, who founded the Mars Agency. And so it's a really exciting and promising piece of technology. We also are expanding into the healthcare space. So we've worked with a number of healthcare technology companies over the years. I don't know if you remember CareTech Solutions back in the day. Jim Giordano, he's probably been on your show. In any event, we helped launch CareTech and done some stuff in the EMR space and EHR space, EHR. But we've recently signed on with Memorial Healthcare, which is based in Owasso in the greater Lansing market. And this is just a very interesting regional healthcare system that is really moving into some specialty spaces in orthopedics and neurology. And they are really wanting to position as a brand of innovation in the healthcare industry. So they have brought us on. We are going to do a rebrand for them. We are going to help them reposition as a healthcare system. So that's a very exciting one as well.
Okay, any other ones that you want to talk about?
Well, our first client from Guam is called GTA. They're the largest telecommunications provider in Guam. And we are working with them to help create awareness of their new technologies, which are designed to enable, the future of telecommunications across the world. So that's really an interesting one. And then let's see. I have my trusty press release here. Peloton, which is not the bike
company. I was going to say I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yes. It's a great brand name, but Peloton is based in Silicon Valley. They have a very interesting technology that enables commercial trucks to draft off of one another. And so the future of this is quite incredible in that you could be driving your 18-wheeler and hook up with another Peloton-enabled 18-wheeler. And there could be multiple of these large vehicles just drafting off of one another, where the one in the front is basically doing all the driving.
Right, yeah.
So it's kind of in the autonomous driving space.
Army calls it platooning.
This is called platooning,
yes.
Exactly. And so this is a very promising technology. There's obviously a lot of work that needs to be done from a policy standpoint to enable this kind of thing to happen. But we've been working with them for a couple years now. A really great company.
Yeah, there's a critical shortage of long-haul truckers right now.
I know.
100,000 down or more, I guess. And that's what kind of keeps the wheels of commerce moving, all those trucks.
It's true. It's something that a lot of people don't consider. But this will enable critical savings in terms of fuel, safety, those kinds of things.
Okay. Let's talk. I know, gosh, you've had several different locations. You started out in the old Penobscot building with a core of 6 people. Then I think you went to Southfield after that.
We were back in the day in I think it was called Startup Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
It was a plug-and-play incubator when those were kind of a thing. And we were there for, a year. And then we went to the 1001 Woodward building, which is now a Gilbert property.
Down in Gilbertville, then.
Down in Gilbertville. It was very different. And we were there for just a couple years. And then we moved to Southfield. We were in the Southfield Town Center for, I think, 11 years.
Was it that long?
Yes. It was a long time. It was a great location. But this space opened up right at 11 in North Main Street. In Royal Oak, and it's, the benefits of, we have a youthful workforce, a very creative workforce, and it's just wonderful to be in a downtown walkable community.
Yeah, it's a nice building. I've been in there several times, and you're up to 30 or so employees.
We have about 30 full-time employees now. Yes.
Come a long ways, right?
Yes. Well, the industry has changed tremendously in 20 years. And so, we have to move with the industry. Everything's moving toward digital, as you know. And so we are in year 2 of a 3-year strategic plan. We're actually looking at a potential acquisition down the line for further diversification. And we do have 2 job openings that I would be happy to promote if
Go
you
right
don't
ahead.
mind.
Yes, you have 3 more minutes to do so.
It probably won't take that long, but we are hiring for a social media specialist as well as an art director.
Ooh.
And these job openings can be found on airfoilgroup.com. So if there are any aspiring creative communicator types that are looking to join a really interesting firm that works with incredibly interesting clients, go to airfoilgroup.com.
And that was a totally unbiased testimonial there, right?
For my own
from
self.
the president of the
For
company.
my own self,
yes,
Mike.
Yes, right, absolutely. So I assume those are online, Airfoil, you said?
Yes.
Airfoil.com. Is there a career site there?
There is. There's a careers page on our
Okay.
website that you can go to. Yeah.
And this mysterious acquisition, can you at least give us an idea without naming names, just sort of the general area, or is that not?
Looking for synergies in our core business of public relations in the short term, a firm that has shared similar experience in technology in a market that's outside of Detroit.
Yeah. Well,
So
speaking
there's
of which,
a long list of those, but
I've lost track, but I know you have a lot of offices scattered about, but I don't. You still have one in Silicon Valley, right?
yeah, we have a presence in Silicon Valley, and that's actually one of the areas that we are taking a look at from the standpoint of an acquisition.
Okay.
Of course, you can't be in technology without having a great presence there, and have found over the years, we had our first office there in 2003. It's probably going to be, we're probably best served, as well as our clients, to buy versus build there. We do have a small office in New York where we have a senior writer, and we've been there since June of 2014.
Okay. And so the office here again is at 11 and Main Street, and we're
Over
on
by the Imagine Theater.
Yes, we're on 11 Mile as well. It's what, a mile and a half away or something, right?
Exactly.
And so very convenient. So anything else you want to share? We got a minute left. Anything else you'd like to share that we didn't talk about?
Well, I was really thrilled and excited by your first guest on the show today
Yes.
from KLA. How incredible that company is going to be hiring 600 people here.
Yep.
That is just amazing. And I think, Michigan is really beginning to be on the map as a technology sector. We've had 2 unicorns here now between Duo Security and
Yep.
StockX, and
Yep.
that's just amazing. I think the country and the world is really starting to take us very seriously from the standpoint of technology innovation.
We're going to have to leave it at that. That's Lisa Valley Smith, the group president. Lisa Valley Smith from the Airfoil Group, who is the president of the group. Get that? Say that fast 3 times.
Thank you, Mike.
you're
Always
welcome.
a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Lisa. And we'll be right back with some more guests. And here we are on our first video show. Matt is on vacation. He'll be back next week, but you got me on M Squared Techcast. Okay.
.edu.
And we're back. Oh, we're not back. Now we're back. Okay. First show, we're still kind of getting our feet wet here. We're doing video now. Unfortunately, Matt isn't here. He's on vacation. Good for Matt. I was on vacation last week, so we'll all be refreshed, right? And we have in studio Dominic Serra, who is the president of Metro Wireless, and Mike Chudarak.
Yep.
I got it right. And you're the new sales manager, right?
Yep. Director of Business Relations.
Director of Business Relations. Cool. And so make sure you lean into the mic is what she's flagging you there. So Dominic, why don't you, let's just assume, we always assume no one's ever heard of any of these companies. So here's where you get a chance to go ahead and talk about what you guys do.
Okay, great. Yeah, well,
Come in a little tighter there. You got to
a little bit tighter.
There
Okay.
you go.
Well, pleasure to be back. with you today.
Yes.
You invited me to the first show that you're doing with camera, so you must think that
Very photogenic.
I've got a
I was actually hoping your wife would come, but she didn't come.
I know,
So
she would have been better. I always thought I had a great face for radio. Mike and I are glad to be back today, and we were talking. We have been on the show a couple of times before, and we were talking today in the office about how we could keep it fresh a little bit. But
right.
I'll go real quick into what we do, and then
Sure.
we'll go into some new stuff. So Metro Wireless, we've been around for going on 5 years now. We're an internet service provider to businesses. We operate fixed wireless as well as LTE and fiber optic networks throughout many different areas. Our primary main fixed wireless market is here in Detroit. We operate in other markets through partners, and we also have launched recently some nationwide products as well, such as we have a backup wireless solution, we have an SD-WAN solution, voice over IP solutions, and similar business communications type solutions. So that's kind of our main focus. We also do specialized projects for businesses that are trying to connect multiple buildings, and including microwaves, microwave wireless technology, building towers for companies, private tower builds, and other type of customized projects.
Yeah, I know we were talking about shooting an on-location video at one of those sites. We just haven't quite worked that out yet, but we'll still do that at some point.
We'd love to do that. Yeah, we'd love to get you guys up somewhere, get some good viewpoints.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. And then you hired this young man over here to your right, to my left. So you've been on the job for a month and a half or so,
About
right?
a month and a half.
Yeah.
And thank you, you're so kind. I always like to age myself backwards. So.
There you go. Yeah. So, you came on board to define what you're doing in business development. I know what business development is, but what are you doing specifically?
Well, what I do specifically for Metro Wireless has to do with a couple different phases. One of those phases is to be a channel manager, so I work with the different agents out there that carry our product line, among others. But what we do is help them realize there's a little more than cost to the equation. We bring a lot of creativity on the network design side so that they can bring their clients more effective and efficient solutions. I also work on the direct side. So I will work with clients directly who come to us looking for different pricing options and different pricing schematics. And again, the same thing there are very important. We look creatively as to what they're doing, what types of services they do, what types of software they run, so that we can make better educated determinations on how we can build this network to be solid and disaster recoverable.
Okay.
That's one of our key things is that, many times we're one of the two carriers they have in place. Oftentimes we're the first carrier, but we don't mind being the second carrier. But at the end of the day, we have an ability to bond these networks together and deliver top-notch service.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today? What do you want to update us on?
So Mike and I were having a discussion in the office today. We're trying to keep it fresh, keep it new. So we wanted to tell everybody, if we haven't told you this before, that you can now deliver with wireless up to or over 10 gigabit per second.
Wow.
And so that's kind of our big focus this summer is we're doing a big upgrade out here in Detroit.
Sure.
And we're bringing in our latest and greatest technologies. We're upgrading everything to in excess of 10 gigabit now because we're going at some of these companies that provide fiber optics. We're competing head to head with them, and a lot of people think there's a limitation on how much I can deliver or how much I'm going to be able to get with wireless. And for 99% of businesses, we can deliver a solution. There's always going to be the outliers, the ones that are on some insane amount of throughput and they're doing 40 or 100 even. But for most businesses, even more interesting is we find that even the customers that order our gigabit service tend to use about 10% of it at maximum, 10 to 20%. So we've got the new 10 gig service now. It's rolling out across more areas. It's available now in downtown Detroit. So if you're listening and you're in Detroit today, especially in the downtown corridor, you can have a 10 gig wireless connection typically under 30 days. And as far as I know, there's not too many companies in town that can do that. So when you hear about new technologies like 5G, a lot of that stuff's being done already. And it may not be in a standard like 5G, but it's being done. And we can deliver that to your business. And I can tell you that if you have a terrestrial connection today, if you're on fiber optics or you're on cable in your office, there is no better backup than a wireless connection, especially for Metro Wireless. There is no better way you can protect your business than having one connection come in through the rooftop of the building and one connection come in through the ground. So if you're thinking about making that step up to a second connection, or maybe you're looking to take out one of your carriers, or maybe you had an outage and you realized that both of your ISPs just went down because they're interconnected, or they're coming off the same pole and the pole gets hit by a semi, whatever it may be, and I hate to see you in that position, but think about calling Metro Wireless, because that's where we can diversify your network in a way that will give you that true non-terrestrial backup, which will keep you up no matter what.
Okay.
Keep you online.
And I'm assuming that your pricing is pretty competitive vis-a-vis the other guys?
We're very competitive. We're not always the cheapest, but we think that in most cases we're going to be the most competitive, depending on our distance and things like this. But we are very well priced. I mean, we're always trying to shave costs off our product and save people money, especially in some of the. I wouldn't say that there's any one tier that we're cheaper than another. We just have a very well thought out pricing structure. So it's based on distance from the POP and a few other factors, and so we tend to be right there. It's even when you're looking at a company that has fiber already in the building, or that has a very strong footprint in an area, you might be surprised how competitive we actually will be.
And very scalable, I would assume.
Very scalable, yes, very scalable. Also, I think we mentioned last time, we integrate very well with existing networks. We've got a technology called SD-WAN that I think we're on the edge of, the bleeding edge of right now. And what we're doing is we're allowing other carriers, like if, for example, you have a second connection, we can take our connection, bring in a new connection, and then bond the two. So that gives you a constant packet by packet solution. So what's happening is if you're on a phone call, and all of a sudden one of your lines starts to go up and down, which going up and down is worse than just going out a lot of times, because it causes confusion in the router. So that would typically mean that your whole office is going to be down, your phone calls aren't going to work, it's going to be dicey, and then typically your IT guy would have to come in and make a change, stabilize the connection or do something or make some sort of decision. With our technology, we can pretty much assure you that in 99% of the cases that we run into, your call will continue uninterrupted, because what's happening is we're sending the traffic out both through the one connection that we brought and the connection that you already had, and if something goes wrong, we're making that decision on a millisecond basis.
Sure.
So we can reroute the packet so fast that you won't even notice that you're dropping. And so that technology is really kind of one of our new and upcoming things that's really started to take off, and it's allowing businesses to deliver higher service to their staff and their users, and a better overall experience.
Is there particular market segments that you participated in stronger than others? In other words, how do you have your market segment? Healthcare or auto or whatever, Well,
we're looking. I would say today we're definitely we have a broad focus. I think all businesses need what we sell, so we tend to do better with businesses that have more of a local presence as opposed to nationwide. It's really hard to get in. If you wanted to deliver service to a Walmart locally, you're typically not going to do that unless a very rare circumstance occurs. So we work better with companies that we can get to the decision makers, and we can work with them, and that tends to be local businesses. However, we are starting to branch out. We do have some products that have caught on nationwide, and that's getting us into new markets. And I will say one of the places we do very well is we work very well with partners, as Mike mentioned. Anybody that's selling technology today, like if you're a guy that has a firewall solution, or you're a voice provider, a VoIP shop, or back in the day you had a lot of these guys selling PBX telephone systems. We work great with those guys, because those guys will go out and they'll go to a customer, and then they will find an opportunity that works well for us, and they'll bring us in, and then we'll work with the customer. We'll help create the solution together. And a lot of times what they're concerned about is, how can I make sure that my phone system stays up in here, because that's my primary thing. So we come in and say, okay, do you need a backup connection? Do you need SD-WAN? What can we do to keep this connection running for you so that your phone system performs good? Because a lot of times what happens is people will sell a phone system or a phone solution, and it won't work well because the internet's not good, and they'll blame the phone provider. Okay, so places like that, we find that's a one place where we've got a lot of traction. And so now we've got all these phone providers that are just coming in every place they go and dropping our solution, and they know that's going to keep their phone system running. So
and that's the difference. It's a solution. That's the difference. It's a solution, not just sort of slinging bandwidth was the old term in the old days. Really, we want those people to come to us, and they come to us because of our expertise. We're going to look at this and engineer it properly, and we're going to deliver that result and stand behind it, which is so much of the difference. Even in that SD-WAN world that Dominic was just speaking of. Old technology said, let's load this firewall with 2 forms of internet. SD-WAN moves way past that. That's still a good tried and true tested technology. But again, we take that different approach so that we can kind of deliver the best of both worlds. And in my time at Metro Wireless, that's part of the reason why I joined the team, and that's another reason that I look forward to and excited to go to work every day, because we help people to achieve what they want to. And they let us know. We might not have been able to do this without you. Thank you. Just different technologies. Some of the spaces we've really increased in are just unique technologies. We're working with trucking companies that have to track their trucks. We're working with different building organizations that have to have things in trailers. And we can deliver this on the fly. Some of our technology, internet in a box, for special events. All of those things are coupled with our unique product set of just our wireless is fantastic, and I think that's where we stand out.
Yeah, when Mike got into the business, everybody was selling long distance, right? That was kind of
the dialer.
So a guy would walk in there, he'd walk in and say, "Hey, I can save you a nickel on every call," and he was changing the world at that time. That was where it started. A lot of the things that we do today were based, come from the telephone system, the telephone company, and how and you would just say they've evolved so much, especially in the last 10 years.
Incredibly.
It's amazingly fast and rapid evolution. And in our business, bandwidth keeps going down in cost, but the usage keeps going up, and the spectrum of the type of customers you can work with goes up, and the applications go up. So even though we're in a constantly falling economy in this business, we've managed, most of the companies that are good manage to keep on growing, and so it's a unique kind of a unique scenario in that sense, because that we're always facing downward price on the cost of bandwidth.
We're out of time in this segment. One more time, how can folks find out more about Metro Wireless?
Yeah, the metrowireless.com is the website. You can give us a call. Our direct line is 313-307-6400. It's funny, I don't know the toll free that our new toll free off the top of my head, but you can ask for Mike if you're looking for something, and he'll get you pointed in the right direction. You got it on there? Oh no, it's not even on there. Yeah, we have a new one, but you could reach us at metrowireless.com.
Sounds great, Dominic, Sarah, Mike. Thanks for being on the show. This is Mike Brennan with M Squared Techcast. We'll be right back. All right, guys.
Plan a campus visit to meet with counselors, faculty, and coaches. Why wait? Find out more at ltu.edu.
Hey, it's Mike Brennan. We're back for our final segment in our first video show. How about that? We actually should turn the camera just a little bit so you can see Jessica, right?
When I have makeup on, yes. Not
okay,
today.
we promised you the Jessica cam, but not this week. Maybe next week. So, We have in studio Jacob Evan Smith, who is the partnership manager at Altimetric.
Yes, sir.
I pronounced that right, I think, right? Yeah.
Altimetric.
Yeah, okay, good. Let's start from the top and assume that people don't know what Altimetric is, because you guys are the new kid on the block downtown Detroit. So what is it you guys do?
And actually, there's been some updates since we last talked, so I can fill you in.
Okay.
So I'm running a brand new space in downtown Detroit called the Altimetric Collider. So we have a name for the space now since you and I last connected, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Altimetric, the company's been around for about 5 years. Actually, a pretty a decent size, 2,200 employee software services firm.
Sure.
Headquartered actually in Southfield, Michigan, with a global presence.
Right.
Works with Fortune 500 clients. Locally, Ford is our most notable local client.
Heard of him.
And very, very basically, in layman's terms, explaining it to my grandma, Altimetric essentially hires talented software engineers and fills specific talent gaps at these big clients, and also has a specific expertise in DevOps consulting, so helping big clients deliver product more efficiently, software products. And kind of keep up with the trends in terms of the ever-changing world of software development.
Sort of like a headhunter, sort of like an HR agency, kind of combined, right?
Yeah. So staff augmentation, I think, is the industry term there. And then a heavy focus on DevOps consulting. So the point of expertise is digital transformation. So helping big clients stay ahead of the curve in terms of keeping up with the rapidly changing world of software, which, needless to say, big corporations aren't necessarily the best equipped to change quickly.
They move kind of slow.
Yeah, so Altimetric steps in and helps clients like Ford do that. What I'm doing with the Collider space is actually launching, or have launched. We're formally launched. It's the community-facing branch of Altimetric. So the space is the Collider. It's located right in downtown Detroit, above Wright & Company, right at John R. and Woodward, so above John Varvatos and Wright & Company,
right.
1500 Woodward. And what we're looking to do is effectively serve as a collaborative hub for the Detroit software community, as well as serve as like an innovation lab for software startups and technology companies in Detroit.
And at the end of June, I was just getting ready to go on vacation, and since I live in Ann Arbor, I couldn't swing into Detroit for your big opening, grand opening, I guess. But you had the mayor there and some other folks, right?
Oh, yeah. So the Mayor Duggan was in the house, which was really exciting, as well as Jack Nasser, former CEO of Ford, which was pretty cool. So both of them gave remarks and kind of engaged in a conversation with the community, had, about 150 guests come through. It was a huge success across the board. We had the mayor physically cut an orange ribbon, which was hysterical. I don't think he was expecting that, so it was pretty cool.
He's a politician. He has to do what he has to do.
He's used to
right?
it, But no, it was that was a formal launch to kind of announce the project to the community.
Right.
We've actually been up and running, somewhat of like a beta before that. So we did a ton of activation actually for Startup Week the week before,
right?
Where we hosted, we probably had 6 or so programs throughout the course of the week.
Yeah.
In the space during Startup Week.
Monica Wheat and Company, right?
Oh yeah. So Monica Wheat and the Venture Catalyst team did an exceptional job. This year was actually run by Olivia Gutterson. Essentially, we just wanted to step in and help however we best could and activate our space at the same time. And the way we did that was by kind of hosting technical programs, showing off kind of what the space is all about. That was really exciting. And then culminated with our launch party last Thursday.
So at the facility itself, what exactly are you going to be doing there?
Yeah, so just to kind of create some imagery here, we're talking about 3,000 square feet, open floor plan, everything's on wheels, so we can do, in terms of like event types, it's effectively picture an event space and kind of an open work space coupled with an innovation lab. And I know that's some jargon, so let me break that down.
Yeah.
So what the space physically will be is during the day, we'll be doing some different, some version of open work where we'll actually be hosting using the space effectively as a co-working space, probably not selling desks a la WeWork and Bamboo in that model, but rather kind of for folks that are currently working from home or working from coffee shops, welcoming people to come and change of scenery, come enjoy an environment that's specifically designed for software developers. So it'll be a little bit quieter, If people are wearing headphones, you don't mess with them. That type of kind of vibe. What someone responded to me, oh, so like kind of like a cool library. It's like, yeah, I guess like a library vibe. So an environment that during the day software developers can come and work in a collaborative environment, and then with a heavy focus on events and programming. So I'm talking about meetups. We're working with a lot of local software meetup organizers. We actually have about 6 meetups already that we're hosting this month.
Wow.
Right. So that's Detroit Rust, Detroit React, Detroit JavaScript, Motor City Software Testers. So software-specific meetups. Using the space, hosting in the space. We're sponsoring food in those cases as well. And then supplementing that with educational workshops, hackathons, social events geared towards a technical audience, like maybe video game tournaments or something like that. So programming specifically geared towards a technical software audience is a heavy focus of the space. And then on the flip side, I keep mentioning the innovation lab piece. We're actually going to be effectively have a full-time Scrum team available. So it's almost like an on-demand Scrum team that could step in and offer basically like development boosting services for local technology companies. So that could be startups, that could be larger companies that have a heavy tech component, but essentially project-based kind of short-term. We step in, support your team. Maybe your team doesn't have the necessary expertise, or maybe you're under resourced, looking to launch a specific feature. Let's say our team could step in, crank out that feature, hand you back the code, and then step away on a per project basis, per contract basis.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, what is the end game of the Collider? What are you hoping to achieve with that? And you got your events, you got all your meetups. Is it partly recruiting? Is it partly what? I mean, trying to define for me.
I have the best job in the world because Altimetric is really trusting me to. My job is essentially to add as much value as I can for the Detroit software community.
Sure.
So, and that comes all the way back to from our leadership in terms of my incentives. My job is to make the space valuable and active. So if I'm not doing that, then none of this is successful. In terms of what Altimetric is hoping to get out of this investment, effectively think of it as part community building. So Altimetric sees an inherent value in kind of building a positive brand in the community. So similar to how why companies volunteer at so this is an opportunity for Altimetric to build brand awareness through community engagement. It's a talent cultivation opportunity. So by casting a wide net and creating a positive association with local software developers, we're hoping to cultivate talent that will, when folks are looking to switch jobs, they will think of us.
Right.
So that's a piece of it. And then the third piece is really kind of like a corporate showcase. So we're doing lots of engagement in the space with clients like Ford, bringing them through and showing them, hey, look at all the innovative things that we're doing. Whereas before we might have, put something together doing what we would call spec work. So like we would just kind of use our own resources to put something together. Now we're going to be developing these types of, showing off our team's ability to innovate and come up with creative solutions regularly. And then we can bring our clients through the space and it's a business development opportunity to showcase kind of our team's capabilities.
Promotion and marketing, essentially.
Yeah, so I think from the Altimetric lens, it's safe to kind of simplify it and think of it as a marketing spend.
And then, would Altimetric then be looking to recruit some of these people or partner with these people or what?
Yeah, I think recruiting has a specific connotation in being kind of a hard sell, where somebody's specifically targeting folks and offering a specific position.
Right.
This is more of a pull strategy than a push strategy. So yes, recruiting in the sense that Altimetric is actively hiring for a variety of software engineering positions, but it's a soft sell, not a hard sell. So I'm not stepping in and saying it's not as if I'm only hosting events for folks that could potentially be immediate hires at Altimetric. I'm thinking of it much more kind of holistically, saying if I'm doing my job and effectively adding value for the software community, I want people to think of us when they're looking for a job, because Altimetric is an awesome company that is dedicated to authentically supporting the software community.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That does, actually. So Ultimetric, what city is it based out of again?
Ultimetric's actually headquartered in Southfield, Michigan,
It
right in the
is.
Southfield Town Center. Yep.
I wasn't sure. Of course, Town Center is very big. So how many folks do they have there then? 2,200
Oh, boy.
worldwide?
About 2,200 worldwide, and that's across the country.
Right.
Offices in India, offices in Uruguay.
So is it an Indian-based company, or did it start in India?
Headquartered in Southfield. So it's started by an Indian-American entrepreneur,
All right.
Raj Vadakudi. So successful, long time serial entrepreneur, so to speak, who actually has built and sold another large successful company in Michigan previously. So I encourage folks to look up Raj Vadakudi's background. Really incredible business leader locally, very kind of under the radar, modest guy. So he's not in the limelight. He's someone who's really stayed out of the limelight. I think kind of intentionally. He's a real kind of modest guy, but at the same time, a very successful businessman locally who launched this business a number of years ago and has grown through. It's basically a series of acquisitions and through growing the business.
Because I knew Raj in another life, and it seemed like he had a different company. That's where the Ultimetric name kind of threw me.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what the company name was when he started.
Covansys?
That's what it was. Okay, yeah.
Yep. So Raj scaled and sold Covansys, I want to say, in the late 2000s. Or excuse me, in like 2007, somewhere around there. He has a family foundation that's based locally, does a lot of work supporting the local hospitals, as well as a ton of really interesting work doing like robotic surgery in India and interesting things. So it's a whole ecosystem of businesses that Raj has his within his umbrella, and so Ultimetric was born out of that ecosystem. And I apologize, I don't remember the original question there, but
I was just
about
trying to remember
how
what
many people.
How many people here in Southfield? About 1,000, 800, somewhere around there. Or?
Less. We have 80 engineers at Ford, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then in the Southfield office, man, so it's funny. I actually spend all my time at the Collider, so I'm like the worst person to ask. But man, the Southfield office probably have 100 or 200 employees locally, if I had to guess.
So really scattered around all over the place then.
Oh, the team is very distributed, and notably, a majority of our employees work full time on site at clients. So our engineers that work at Ford work full time at Ford, and would be somewhat indistinguishable from other Ford employees unless you knew that they were Ultimetric employees. And so we pay their salary, we pay their benefits, but they work essentially full time at Ford.
All right. So we got about a minute and a half left. Let me give you a chance to one more. And I'm sure you're hiring, right? We'll talk a little bit of hiring, talk a little about the Collider, and then we'll wrap the show up here.
Absolutely. Really quick on the hiring front. So I'm actually looking for someone to support me in the Collider space. So that job description will be going live soon, but effectively like a community manager / someone who could help me with actual event logistics, social media potentially, kind of like photo and design skills would be ideal, but not necessary. So look out for that getting posted soon. In terms of Ultimetric with software engineering opportunities, full stack Java is always in high demand. iOS and Android developers, as well as a few other things, project managers and things of that sort. And we're kind of always looking for different things, but that's out the gate things that I know that we're actively hiring for.
Okay.
And in terms of an ask with the Collider, we're looking to get the space active. So go to ColliderDetroit.com.
That was what I was going to ask next,
Yep, ColliderDetroit.com. So go there and you can sign up for our email list to get updates and read a bit more about what we're working on. More details will be added to that kind of as they come. We'll have a calendar of events coming soon. You can find us on meetup.com /ColliderDetroit as well.
Yep.
As well as social media, Collider Detroit. And effectively companies that are looking for the type of support that I mentioned. So if your team is either under-resourced or needs some outside expertise to help you take either a feature or maybe a proof of concept, develop a proof of concept, that is our team's expertise, and we would love to help you. So please feel free to reach out. I'm J Smith at Ultimetric.com.
And there you go.
ALTIMETRIK.
Jacob Evan Smith at Ultimetric. Thanks very much for being on our first video show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
All right. And so Matt will be back next week. I can do it here. Come off vacation and I can't talk, right? So you've watched the first video show. We're going to be doing this going forward. This is going to be our new format. Hope you enjoy it. And I hope you join us again next week on M Squared Techcast. This is Mike Brennan. See you then.